Hello everyone, and welcome to the first round in FRRL. This is going to be the Australian Grand Prix. As you can see below us, we have our grids almost completely filled with one Toro Rosso starting in the pits. I might need to turn off that because I don't care about that. I'm actually gonna have that out. The racers are ready and we are getting ready to start. The Williams starting in P1, McLaren starting in P2. Racing Point and another Williams will take up the second row. McLaren and Ferrari will take up the third row. Renault and Red Bull will take up fourth row. And I believe that's gonna be the start of our race in a couple of seconds. Today is the first round ever in an FRRL. He lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, 5 red lights. And we are rolling now. I'm gonna be flying and following the leaders just for convenience sake. Obviously, there's gonna be a bit of lag, so I need to catch up with them. And Williams, a good bit ahead of the Racing Point and McLaren as they go into the second sector here. The Williams pulling away from the Racing Point now. The Williams has a good lead now. I believe that's the racer named Mum. I do not know. There are two Williams, and I did not bother to look at usernames. Now, the Racing Point and the Williams will be battling for P2 as they go into that little chicane there and heading towards the end of this first lap ever in FRRL. 25 laps here. One mandatory pit as always. The race Williams in first place, a Racing Point in second place, and another Williams in third place as they go into the first and second two turns. The Racing Point is starting to catch up with the Williams as a bit of lag happens because they're all conga lining, that sort of happening. And the Renault is joining the battle for P2. So this is going to be a very interesting race indeed in a couple of seconds, I imagine. I am not fast enough to follow these guys by flying. Welp, that sucks. Oh, the Renault took second place, but now he's going to corner cut. So it's the Williams, and I'm sure the marshals will look at that later on. But the Williams far ahead here. Severely ahead as two racers are calling out someone for corner cutting. That might hurt his chances in this race. As they go into P1, it is... And Pro King does have a warning from the marshals for corner cutting earlier. The Williams in P1 for not in second place, but not for long. The Racing Point would overtake him and now they're battling for second place. As they go into the second sector, it will be Renault in P2 now. But the Racing Point comes right back with the draft. This is a very close race. As they head into the chicane here. It will still, it's a very close battle indeed. Both the Renault and the Racing Point are catching up with our leader, with the leader of this race as well. And that will be Williams in P1, Renault in P2, and a Racing Point in P3. This is insane racing going on in the top three, as the rest of the pack is so far behind. There we have a Alfa Romeo on the side of the road. I believe they're going to be retiring. That might draw some fun for these racers. And as you see them, the lead that the Williams has is going up and down, closer and further away. That's Telegram. Just don't pay attention to that, please. And the Williams went wide. The Williams went wide, and it will now be Renault and the Williams battling for P1 with the Racing Point directly behind them. They'll go into the final turn, and it will be Renault in the lead now. But for how long? As Williams does have a draft, but he's gonna go off the racing line to try and deny the Racing Point a good line. But it will cost him dearly, as now the Racing Point and the Williams are racing closely. The Renault is gonna needs to capitalize on the battle for P2 and draw away, but that might not happen in time. for him to be safe in the lead. And now it's a Racing Point in second place. What a disastrous first few laps for the Williams, as he goes further and further away from the from the battle now. Excuse me. And DRS is officially enabled. So now the Racing Point's gonna have DRS coming onto this first straight, but he's gonna need it for sure. And the Racing Point's gonna try and use the DRS. No DRS for either of them, surprisingly. All three of them go into the first turn clearly. All of them about maybe just under a second from each other. The Williams falling further and further behind as the Renault and the Racing Point battle for the lead here. The Williams has a disastrous start of this race. He had an amazing start, excuse me. An amazing start. He had the lead. He was pulling away, but he went way too wide. And now this is going on here. As my brother walks into my room, this is quite awkward. I'm commentating a race for the first time because I'm bored. Why are you messing with my blanket? Okay then. That was cool. There is no such thing as a safety car, so that sucks for that person trying to call out safety car. As they go into the second sector now, Racing Point ever so slightly catching up on the Renault. And actually, the Racing Point will take the lead from the Renault, so we had a lead change going into the second sector now. The Williams still far behind, but maybe their battle up in front will throw them off and for the Williams to catch up, who knows. The Racing Point with a solid lead right now over Renault went off the racing line heading into that turn, oddly enough, and goes a little too wide. And it's going to be a very close battle indeed going on to the pit straight. I went way too high in the sky for me to be able to tell. And they are separated, so neither of them get the draft. Well, I don't think it's going to matter. Oh, they both went wide. But it's the Racing Point that... Oh, look at this. They're still battling. They are battling so hard. They are inside of each other. Take that as you will. The Renault, from how I see it right now, is in P1. And he may stay like that for a little while until they pit. Remember, they do have to pit, and this is around their 7. We are on lap 7. Lap 7, and a battle for the lead is going on, and I think the Renault... No, the Racing Point went wide. The Racing Point went too wide into that turn, and he's gonna suffer the consequences there. I really hope those notifications aren't showing up because that's gonna suck. They both go too wide once again, and it seems like the Williams is actually catching up with them drastically. So as they continue... Oh, the Racing Point spins a little. The Racing Point makes a little mistake there. And now the Williams is going to have a go while the Renault takes a big lead from both of them. This is a big turn of events now, as we have the second Racing Point almost getting lapped here. They'll put it out that it's Randy who spins, so I guess it sort of worked. That's has a sort of blue flag. So there we go, the Renault miles ahead. The Renault capitalizing off of the Racing Point spin there. Oh, and he does a little corner cut there. The Marshals might have a little lucky there. I am lagging a little bit and my back hurts, so this sucks. Okay, anyways. Oh, and the Renault spins! The Renault spun! The Renault spun! And the Racing Point went too wide. It will be the Williams back in the lead after his terrible mistake earlier. He is back in the lead. And now it's a Williams P1, Racing Point P2, and Renault back P3. And things are going back and forth now. And I am really starting to hate those notifications. And it's a Red Bull. A Red Bull has overtook the Renault. So the Renault has suffered dearly from spinning. And the Racing Point goes too wide as they go into their 10th lap now. As they continue on now, the Williams and P1, Racing Point, P2, Racing Point gonna try and go wide into that turn to get more speed, and it's not gonna work for him as he almost spins, and he does spin into the wall, but is able to keep it straight. So now the Williams will have an indefinite lead, but remember, these racers still have to pit. They all have to pit still. And this is insane. The Renault and the Red Bull are battling for P3, and they are slowly catching up to the battle for P1. This is insane. As Racing Point goes way too light, he's gonna suffer dearly. He will now be P4. Oh no, he's gonna overtake the Renault. And oh, he's actually the Williams, the Racing Point, and the Red Bull are going to pit, meaning the Renault is at a big risk here of being undercutted here. The Renault also the Renault might be having grip struggle. His tires might be going. I have no way of knowing this right now. But as of right now, the Renault has a big lead, but that's only because he has not pitted. This is going to be a big turn of events this lap, because the Renault needs to pit. If the Renault does not pit, he could get a penalty and possibly even just not even exist in this race. And I don't know, I believe the Ferrari behind the Renault is a back marker. So we're going to have that going on. And the Renault is going to pit. The Renault is going to pick. The Renault has pitted, but the big question here is will he beat the others out of the pit? Well, I believe we have a new leader somewhere. And that's pro. So, meaning someone has took the lead, and I need to find out who it is. It's not you. It's a guy named Diamond. I'm gonna wait. I know it's not the Ferrari, because the Ferrari just keeps spinning, unfortunately for him. So here's the Williams. The Williams is behind the Red Bull, so a disaster for them. The Red Bull almost spins, and the Williams goes too wide. I'm going to watch the Red Bull because I don't know who's in the lead anymore. Here, actually, I'll go over here and just wait. So here I am waiting on the front stretch for the leaders, as the pit window has been open for quite some time. Okay, so it is the Williams. The Williams is in P1. To my knowledge, the Williams is back in P1. I do not actually know, and there's the confirmation right there. So the Williams, after a disastrous incident earlier, spinning out and everything, he would take back the lead, but then would spin out again and go into the pits immediately after. And now look at him, he's leading the race once again. There's the Williams. I don't know where P2 is. That's the problem. Mum is in P1. Me is in P1. And there's your confirmation right there. Who's in P2, I wonder? It's Pro King. So Pro King, who was battling him earlier, is still in the battle. Here. Williams far ahead of him, though. About 2 corners ahead. As he goes into Sector 2 now. So does Renault, just barely 2 seconds behind him. Not gonna have the assistance of DRS or draft, and might actually be caught behind stuck air, so that's gonna be a big problem for him. Meanwhile, the Williams still in the lead, having a strong race here after those incidents. And there he goes. As he goes into turn 1 and into turn 2 now. An excellent race for Mummy, and if he has played his cards right, he could win this race. Without a doubt, he could be the winner of this race. Oh, but he does have a huge. He has 10 laps to look forward to his win. To be the first winner in FRRL, to be the first winner in the first race of FRRL, and to have just an amazing race indeed. He goes a little bit wide there, but I don't know what's going on with Pro King. I haven't paid attention to him, as I believe that's a back marker in front of our leader here. And no, wait. No, wait, I've been saying the wrong crap this entire time. The Red Bull is the leader. Excuse me. So there's an active battle for the lead going on now, between a Red Bull and a Williams. I've made a huge mistake. I am sorry, forgive me, whoever's watching this. And the Red Bull spins! The Red Bull spins and makes a massive crash. He's not going to be able to recover in time. He will now be in P3 now, as I have to catch up with our leader, who is going to be miles ahead now, as I was talking about earlier, as if he was. Williams going to be driving a clean race here. He needs 8 laps. I think that's 8 laps. Don't judge me. 8 more laps of racing for this Williams to claim the first win in FRRL. Gonna be clean through here. But I don't think we want to watch him. I think we need to watch this. The 2 Red Bulls versus the 1 Renault. Going on for P2, P3, and P4, I believe. A battle for P2 is going on right here between Pro King and, I believe, Diamond. I can't see his name. No, I don't think that's Diamond. Ignore that. Forgive me. They go into the final sector here. Going on here. They go into the final turn with the Red Bull ahead of the Renault, so it'll be a Red Bull in second place, and Pro King, the Renault, in P3, with the Williams miles ahead of them. The Renault's gonna drive really hard into that turn, goes a little bit too wide into the wall, but he will recover from it, as he has the other Red Bull on his tail now. The Renault goes wide again. He's panicking, it seems. Either that or he has no grip. He might have no grip. I doubt he doesn't have any grip though, because oh, that's a big corner cut from Pro right there. Another corner cut, wow. Pro, man. I'm sure the marshals are currently watching. Oh no, there is a second warning. A second warning has gone to Pro King for corner cutting. So they have witnessed him as he gets loose out of the final turn. It will be a Red Bull in second place and a Red Bull in third place now. And Pro King lets the 2 Red Bulls by either intention. Oh, when the Red Bull spins! The Red Bull spins! The Red Bull spins. So it will now be a William in first place, a Red Bull in second place, and a Renault in third place, because the other safety. Okay, God, I suck. I want to watch our leader. And according to our calculations, aka whoever put that announcement at the top, the Williams is ahead by 6 entire seconds. If you wanted to watch Hamilton sell race entirely, I am completely sorry for that. I should not have sat there sorry for that. I need to catch up now. But if you guys ever watched Hamilton race, this is giving me Hamilton vibes, where Hamilton will just pull away entirely from the rest of the pack after a seeming disaster happens to him. But now look, as we go into the final 5 laps coming up here, and oh, the Williams is gonna pit. The Williams with a 6-second lead is going to pit. And P2 is coming up here. He's not going to make it out in time. It's going to be Pro King and P1 now. Pro King is took the lead. But he does have 2 warnings, so he needs to be careful. Because one more warning could get him a time penalty or disqualified. And as you see there, he's not exactly being careful there. Another corner cup there. And I believe a 3-second time penalty just went out onto Pro King. So Pro King in the lead with a 3-second time penalty. And indeed it is. Our leader in this race has a 3-second time penalty. And that Red Bull behind him is definitely not 3 seconds behind him. And he might actually take the lead in a second. And he might actually, yes he will, as Renault spins. Pro King has spun, and we have a new leader in the Red Bull now. A new leader. And this race is getting crazier and crazier as it goes by. Red Bull now in the lead here as Renault spins. He might have... And he did recover before the second Red Bull could catch up. But the Red Bulls facing a huge possibility for a 1-2 finish on their first race here in FRRL because of that 3-second time penalty. And the second Red Bull driver is saying Pro corner cut it again. This is insane. Red Bull far ahead of the battle for second place here. And I believe we want to watch that, don't we? And Renault in second place, the Red Bull in third place here. And they both spun! They have both spun! And but the Renault recovers first. Renault will get a big boost on his lead there. And then we see the Williams with much fresher tires catching up to them as well. This is going to be an insane finish for the last half of the podium. Here we see in the chat, racers reporting our second place right now in Renault. There we see them trying to report him for corner cutting there. As Williams is trying to catch up to the Renault to take P3 away from him. The Red Bull must have his eyes on that Renault ahead of him. He needs to not worry about the Williams behind him. He needs to focus on his driving and not the fact that he could have P3 taken away from him. As we go around the last few corners, our leader is going to be on the last lap, and the Red Bull spins. The Red Bull's tires are giving way. We are white flag now. Oh, disregard. Oh wait, never mind. We are 2 laps away. The Red Bull spun, and I thought he was gonna give that position away to Williams, but it will not be. But maybe he will now after he goes a little bit wide. Williams gonna be trying to catch up to him as they go into the second sector. Is it going to be enough? 2 more laps to go, and it's a battle for every spot in the podium. My shoulders are hurting. This hurts incredibly. And there we see one of the back markers, Devencier, I believe that's their name. Excuse me if I got it wrong. And now it's white flag here. White flag here. We are on the final lap and the Williams drops back severely and the Red Bull and the Renault will have a battle for P2. This is insanity. The Renault goes too wide, almost spans but saves it. But now he's gonna have a Williams charging up behind him. The Red Bull in second place. They all need to be mistakeless for it to be a 1-2 finish for Red Bull. Pro is gonna corner cut once again. That's gonna be a penalty for sure. Without a doubt, especially in this close of a race here. They continue on. Final sector. I'm gonna go to the street. As we see, it's gonna be a Red Bull in first place. It's gonna be Boomer. Boomer will win the first race in FRRL. He will get P2. It's gonna be a 1-2 finish for Red Bull. A 1-2 finish for Red Bull. P3 is Renault and P4 is Williams. A big race here. A Williams in P5 now. Boomer wins the Australian Grand Prix, followed by a Red Bull and another Red Bull. It's a 1-2 finish for Red Bull. And there we see a Renault pulling into his podium spot now. A Racing Point destroying the podium because he didn't get there, I guess. There, we are waiting for the rest. We are waiting to see the two Red Bulls. A 1-2 finish for Red Bull in the first race, and you have to, and thinking about it, the Pro King, the Renault here in third place, could be facing a penalty for for excessive corner cutting, and if he does, that will mean Williams will take P3. And then we have Gino in second place, taking his spot in the driveway here. And we are waiting for the winner of this race, who is currently making his victory lap around the track, I imagine. And I believe Boomer started from the pit, so this is an amazing finish for Red Bull. A 1-2 finish for Red Bull, and Williams could possibly have P3 soon. Here goes Boomer, who parks probably the best I've ever seen someone park on a podium, just right into its teammate. There goes Williams. I love just watching people just run into the podium at mad speed to get in here. So there's Proking in P3, the third place for the Australian Grand Prix. Gino in second place, and the winner of the Australian Grand Prix, struggling to get up the stairs because this game sometimes does that. Someone might need a... Poor Boomer can't get up. And I believe the two people that can teleport him are, aren't exactly available here. And there's the mod there, trying to teleport him, but it seems he's struggling with life. So that's fun. I don't know where, he's going. This is this is interesting. An amazing race and everything for all racers involved, and somehow the biggest problem for one of them, our winner, the biggest problem is the biggest problem for our winner here, who had an amazing race and everything. The biggest problem for him is but now they're saying waiting for a confirmation here. Now I am waiting for confirmation here, but I believe the marshals did give Proking a penalty, a time penalty, because of his excessive corner cutting. So we are waiting. I'm waiting for confirmation. I'm not going to say anything until I have confirmation. But I'm going to say that Proking did receive a 3-second time penalty when he crossed the line. And there seems to be a bit of a speculation or an argument going on over who is in P3 and who is not, because Mum was behind Proking, I believe, when they crossed the line. But now they are arguing over how far Mum was. It does not matter where Proking finishes, in my opinion. The first race ever in FRRL history, and we have a 1-2 finish for Red Bull, even though he's in a Mercedes racing suit. We just ignore that. A 1-2 finish for Red Bull, and that is impressive. Everyone had their mistakes going on here. But as of right now, oh my god, my mic was so far away from me. I really hope y'all can actually hear me half the time. But as of right now, it is Boomer in P1 for Red Bull. And P2, it is Gino for Red Bull. It is a 1-2 finish for Red Bull. And in third place, as of right now, without any penalties applied, it is Proking for Renault. But when the penalties are applied, it could be a Williams taking P3. What an amazing race that was. What an amazing race that was. Honestly, an amazing race and an amazing thing to commentate on. I really hope y'all enjoyed this race. If y'all did, I might be able to leave the link to the Discord in the description so you can try to join this, have fun. I don't believe any main driver seats are open, but I believe mostly reserve driver seats are open, which I believe there were a few reserve drivers out on the track today as well. So it's not a 0% chance you won't race if you are a reserve driver. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's race. What an amazing race that was. And next track, I believe, is the Italian Grand Prix. If it's not, it's Silverstone. And if it's not Silverstone, I'm going to lynch myself. Have a good day, everyone.